Well, welcome everybody. It's time for the cafe to talk about golf, and that means that OG is back in the house. And it's good to have him on board. He's had a busy week already. Domestically in South Africa, you've been out, was it Glendower?
Hi, Neil. Yeah, being out at Glendower for the African Bank Sunshine Tour Championship, the second of the 5 series, tournaments of the 5, tournaments in Gauteng that the Sunshine Tour have put together. So the second one happening at Glendower this week. And the first day actually produced quite some great scoring. A guy like Martin Roa getting 7 birdies today, which will put him right up there in that birdie challenge as well.
Well, it's good. Nobody finished 30 under like our good friend Dustin Johnson. Mind you, it took him 4 rounds to get to 30 under, but what a masterclass display. And it was amazing. I've spoken to a lot of guys during the week. Somebody you'd know, Louis Hatting, and I had a long conversation about Dustin Johnson, just saying, he's not flustered by anything. I mean, he got 30 under, and his reaction is the same as if he was level par.
Exactly. I mean, not too long ago, he missed the cut. And you were thinking, is this the same guy that then goes and shoots 30 under par? But I was a little bit disappointed on Friday, Neil, because I thought he was on for the 57, maybe even a 58. Yeah. And for him to finally shoot 60 on Friday, it was exciting to watch, but it seemed like once, the broadcast came on, then the birdies dried up. But what an absolutely wonderful performance by Dustin.
You know what? I've mentioned this to you before. I actually blame us. When I mean us, I mean Supersport, because he was 11 under through 11. And then when the live coverage started, he stopped, and we were all glued there waiting for the eagles and the birdies to come, and it wasn't live. Maybe he was camera shy.
But a spectacular performance nonetheless. I mean, it was so great to watch. And you're right, it's like he's not flustered by anything. You go and beat, the top guys in the world by 11 shots. I think Justin Thomas tweeted him and said, geez, like, what course were you playing? Because we struggled out there.
Yeah, crazy stuff. Brilliant. And when he's like that, he is spectacular. So now let's put it into context for our Cafe Better Sport punters out there who want to have a bet on golf, because this is important now. We've cut down to 70. 70 golfers advanced to the BMW Championships. We're in Chicago, but only 30 will move on to the Tour Championship. And there's a lot of money at stake here.
Big money at stake here, Neil. We know that anything can happen at the Tour Championships. And the thing about the BMW this week now is that what do? Do you try and chase it and get into the top 30 if you're not in there? That's definitely has to be the strategy. But also you don't want to fall too back out so that you then fall out of the top 30 trying to chase it, because you want to place yourself right in there. And I think, the guys in the top 10, they're thinking, if I remain in the top 10, then I've got a shot at winning the ultimate prize at Eastlake next week. So it's going to be interesting to see what sort of strategies the guys are going to go into this week with.
Well, there's some breaking news, as you would have seen, and that is that Webb Simpson, who, when I was going across the various tipping platforms to see what everybody else's opinion was, Webb Simpson was a very popular warm choice. But as you know, he's pulled out. He's resting because he feels that his position he should be. I think he's third currently. Let me just check that. Yeah,
he's safe. He's definitely safe. And maybe this is a wise decision, and I think if you are in that, like I said, in that top 10 bracket, you are most likely to stay there for next week as well, unless something drastic happens in the lower part of sort of maybe the top 20 or so. And maybe it is a good decision. Take a rest this week and give yourself the best chance to actually give it a shot next week. But it could also backfire. I mean, a guy like Dustin, I would imagine would want to continue in that momentum and the form that he showed last week. And if you have momentum like that heading into Eastlake, that can only bode you well for you. It bodes well for you. It can't really harm you that much. And I think we'll have to wait and see if Webb's decision is the correct one or not.
Yeah, I suppose he's got to listen to his body, and it's not just the body, it's the psychology of it. And I think he's finished, he's had a couple of top fives. And so if you're playing in the last day and you're on the leaderboard. That's got to bring its own kind of pressure, emotionally as much as physically. So I think it's probably a good decision. But as you'll see, as you say, we shall see. So what's your gut feeling here? Because it's an interesting course. It's pretty long, and automatically you're thinking Bryson DeChambeau, who won an amateur there in 2015. He won the United States Amateur, so he's got some course form. And he bombs it a long way. So he'll be a popular choice for many.
I think for a lot of guys, he'll definitely be a popular choice, Neil, because as you mentioned, I mean, in 2015, he won the US Amateur there, but the course is going to play differently now. It's playing as a par 70 compared to when he won. And the likes of Colin Morikawa was actually in that same tournament as well. John Rahm played in that tournament as well. So the guys that are in the field probably have the most recent knowledge of what the course is like. Of course, the last time the PGA Tour was back there was back in 2003 for the US Open, which was won by Jim Furyk. Tiger Woods was there, but he finished tied 20th at the time. So I don't think course knowledge will go that much into, us maybe picking a guy for this week. But definitely you can't count out a guy like Bryson because it's a very long course. I mean, you've got a few par fours there that are like close to 450 and 500 yards. And if you can hit it as long as Bryson, then you're definitely giving yourself a chance. But he's not going to be my top guy to go with this week, Neil. Even though I say, you know what, he probably should be in there as well. But I'm going to go with Adam Scott this week because considering just how long that is, one person who's got an extremely great long game is Adam Scott. So he is the guy I'm going with for this week.
Okay, well, he must be a big price. It's interesting. I've got a friend of mine who punted him last week. And it'll be just like my friend's bad form that he punted him a week too early. So that guy's name's Dean. So if you hear somebody crying and Adam Scott plays well, that'll be Dean. I'm just looking at where Adam is. Adam's 38. Yeah, that's a nice one because he's just off the bubble. He's got to play well to finish in the top 30 to advance. So that also helps.
So that helps him a lot. And I think he's definitely got the game. He's won, recently as well. So we definitely know that he's got the form. And I think this course will also reward great ball strikers. And he's one of the best. The short stick obviously is going to be, key coming this week. But I think if you think about the length of the course, he's definitely one guy that, even though it doesn't bomb it as long as a Bryson or a Dustin Johnson or a Rory McIlroy, but he can definitely hit it in there with the long irons.
You're so right about course form because frequently when I study, I go back and see who played well there. And apart from those amateurs, and there were a couple of real Illinois amateur events from lesser golfers. We haven't been there, as you say, since 2003. When I looked at that result, I mean, I couldn't believe what's happened in 17 years. I mean, I would imagine about 35, 40 of those names don't even play anymore. Stephen Leaney plays. So I kept looking, I think, but I don't even recognize anybody.
To find the guys who you could talk about today.
Yeah.
And it's incredible.
So I looked at the top 30 and then I thought, you know what, there's no course form here, so let me just put it away. So yeah. I think you're right. You've got to stick with what the course is all about. And you're right, ball striking. But at the end of the day, frequently these big tournaments comes down to putting. If someone gets really red hot with the putter, they can put the field to bed quite quickly.
And I think that's what we saw last week. I mean, in those early rounds that Dustin played, that I think he's got that positive mindset with the putter as well. He's gone back to that old spider putter, that old black spider putter, which he used to trust so much. And we've seen him in the last couple of seasons changing a few putters, but it seems when he goes back to this one, which I think he won the US Open with, it works pretty well for him. And he was rolling the ball so well last week that I think we should see him, gaining quite a lot of positions with the putter this week as well. So for him, that's definitely going to be key. We've seen the likes of Colin and Justin, just how well they've been putting recently. And definitely you can't count them out. And if you look at a guy like, JT, he's probably got, such a great chance to win it all come next week. And I think he's definitely going to want to put in a great performance at the BMW Championships to kind of set himself up to win the Tour Champs next week.
Yeah, he's been a bit inconsistent. as is Dustin Johnson. You know, 1 week good, then a miscut, then 1 week in the heat, pretty much like Rory McIlroy. So I'm going through a lot of these guys. The consistency factor's not there. I'm going to throw a couple of names at you who have been consistent in a moment. But I tell you who, you've gone for Adam Scott. By the way, you're now 2-0 up, because I'm giving you the Colin Morikawa victory for the PGA. You deserve that. And then last week, your Matthew Wolff, he started well. He favored,
so well.
but he still did better than my selection, which was I've even forgotten his name now. The Puma guy, what's his name? Ricky Fowler.
Yeah, with Ricky.
Yeah, I'm not talking about him anymore. So you're 2-0 up, but I'm going to try and get you this week, right? Because you've gone for Adam Scott, and I'm very bullish on Xander Schauffele. I think this is Schauffele's week.
You might be onto something there. You know, I thought about him as well, and he's probably been, him and Daniel Berger have probably been the most consistent golfers during this entire post-lockdown period. And Xander is not a bad shout at all. And I think you might just pull off a 2-1 here, but I've got a gut feeling about Adam Scott. And hopefully you'll put me 3-0 up, because I don't want you to pull on back.
It wouldn't surprise me, because you know your golf and you've been in excellent form. But yeah, Schauffele for me, because I think he'll benefit from the fact this is a tougher course. He was on record as saying he doesn't really like these tournaments where it's 26 under and it's not his style. He's a good scrambler. He's very solid. His bogey avoidance is good. So I'm thinking that this track could suit Xander Schauffele. So he's my each-way selection. But some of the consistencies, you mentioned one of them. I mean, Daniel Berger's been consistent, and Harris English has had a great season. I mean, from being on the Corn Ferry Tour, I mean, I'm looking at him now. He's sixth in the FedEx. It's unbelievable.
I actually didn't know much about Harris English until we were watching with my daughter, and she's like, "Daddy, is that guy's surname really English?" and I was like, "Yes, that is seriously his surname, and he's done so well as well. I mean, to come from the Corn Ferry, I was watching a couple of documentaries that they had on just before the tournament last week of the guys who are grinding it out on the Corn Ferry Tour, and it is such a great stepping stone for you to prepare yourself for the competition once you get your PGA Tour card. So he's definitely done well, and I expect him to actually compete this week as well. Someone though, Neil, who actually impressed me, but only on Sunday, and is a guy we can't not talk about, is Tiger Woods. Although he had kind of a horrible 3 days and made the cut on the number, there was plenty to see with that 64 that I'm hoping that he will take that form that he showed on Sunday into this week.
Yeah, I'm trying to find Tiger. Where is he on the pecking order? Because he must be far down, because he just hasn't played. So he's really seventh. I mean, he's probably going to have to win or run second, or maybe if he's lucky third, to get into the top 30.
Exactly. He's going to need a big performance for him to make it to the Tour Championships. And of course, we remember what he did, 2 years ago. So hopefully those memories come flooding and can propel him to make it into the top 30. But yeah, he just hasn't been consistent enough for me to be even able to back him. But I think Sunday shooting at 64, it wasn't vintage Tiger, but he showed a glimpse of what he can do if he gets going. And that's what he needs. He needs Thursday, get off to a first round that's good, under par, a couple under par, to give him that confidence to then go for it on Friday and Saturday. But if he struggles the way he did the first 2 days last week, then he'll probably and fortunately there's no cut this weekend. So maybe it also gives him a chance to have a go at it for 4 straight days.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's it. So you've given us a real outsider, Adam Scott, to go on with there. My Xander Schauffele, we're hoping for an improved performance. I think we'll get a good 4 rounds from him, but whether it's enough to win the tournament or place, we'll see. Last week's Hideki Matsuyama, I kept an eye on him. I didn't put any money on him. He's an enigma, but he's putting better, I have to say. But there's something not right. I mean, he's been so cold, a bit like Rory McIlroy. You wonder if they can find the form to get themselves back into the top 5.
I didn't see anything that would give me the confidence to say they'll do it this week. I mean, a guy like Rory, like I said last week, you hope that he's going to surprise you and prove you wrong. But the way he was struggling, and I think more than anything, it's such a mental problem, I think, for Rory. And he spoke about the fact that he can't really get going without the fans around.
Yes.
And he's probably one of those players that need that energy to hit a good shot, hit a good putt, and then get the energy from the crowd as they react. But when you only have a few marshals and a few TV cameramen surrounding you, you don't get the same response that maybe will give you the energies to push forward. So for Rory, I mean, we hope he'll have a good week. My guy, Harold Varner, last week, I mean, I actually went and I saw the odds and I'm like, these are pretty good odds if he does play well. But, he was absolutely nowhere. So I'm not going to mention Harold this week. Sticking to Adam Scott, but I kind of like that Xander Schauffele pick you went with, Neil.
Well, let's hope so. Let's hope that they play well. I like Xander, and I just feel he's bubbling for something big. But you could say that about a lot of golfers. So there it is. OG, always a pleasure. 4 sleepless nights coming up again for us because we love it. It's just fantastic. And I mean, to watch Dustin Johnson, even though the tournament was over, watch him put on that masterclass was just fantastic.
And that's what we need. I mean, that entertainment, you're right. I mean, Sunday I kept saying, there's no way he's not going to win this tournament, but I kept wanting to see what he's going to do, and we're hoping for more and more birdies and eagle chances and great golf this weekend on SuperSport.
OG, thanks very much. OG going for Adam Scott, and he's given you a couple of others to keep an eye on. Hopefully Tiger will play well. DJ, well, if he just keeps on playing like he's been playing, he'll be a hard nut to crack. But can he keep up that unbelievable level? One thing's for sure, he's not spending any extra effort, time, or emotion in his reactions after scoring, because that is just all the same. So we'll watch DJ do the same. OG, thanks very much for joining us, and we'll chat to you next week. Good luck with Adam Scott.
Thanks, Neil.